Hello and welcome to the Moinesgate podcast. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell. We're here to go through the Tuesday, April 7th NHL Daily Fantasy Slate. Let's get into it.
You're sitting there looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.
DJ, it is Monday evening as we record this. How was your weekend? How are you doing on this fine championship Monday for college basketball?
Yeah, I mean, good weekend. Friday I feel like was whatever. Saturday was a lot of close but no cigar, and Sunday we were smoking cigars. So pretty happy there. I do believe Josh Norris is in my best puck team remaining. I know you're doing a little bit better than I feel like I talked to you on like Wednesday and you were like the deadest of deads ever to be dead in best puck. And then I talked to you yesterday and you're like, what if I was just in my top 10? And I'm like, what if I hated you?
Yeah, that's
answer
pretty much how it went. I have a Vancouver stack that advanced, so them scoring 8 goals on Wednesday, that works. And I think the weekend was dominated by St. Louis, so I think that's the Holloway situation got crazy. Jack Hughes went nuts on Thursday. Lots of stuff happened later in the week.
0 Holloway teams is just not fun.
Yeah, he's on both of my finals teams, which is very funny. Yeah. But he was also my highest drafted player. So anyway,
he was up there for me. I mean, it like sometimes, you know, it's like, are you good? Are you bad? Are you this or that? Like the Holloway thing, the thesis felt like it was getting punished, even though it was sharp. And now he's turned it on, and I think will remain a very high draft pick. But I mean, maybe it's a topic I'm more interested in than you, but like I love talking about like who are the best players that weren't drafted, and Stuggerud's starting to creep his way up that leaderboard. I mean, he's definitely not, Radish levels, but always fun to start scouting for next year's best puck play, season.
Yeah, best puck's the only thing I got to sweat today. I'm getting omega punished by Alfang and Tage Thompson. Absolute.
I told you not to.
And then I came off of Jonathan Toews, which was also a failure. So
I definitely told you not to. Did he score in the power play, right?
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't it power play? Yeah, I like looked everywhere for that power play point bet, and sadly the books were on to me. But yeah, no, things are good, having fun, enjoying the down the stretch, planning on going to the first Sabres game with our friend Evan. He's fully in now, so getting excited to spend a few $100 to go sit in the nosebleeds.
Nice.
You coming down?
Down. No.
However you want to look at it. Lower. Never mind. I was going to say, are you closer to sea level in Buffalo? But I doubt that. You're probably just as close to sea level in Philadelphia, I have to imagine.
I would assume I am at sea level.
I assume you're at sea level too. But we should move on before I start talking sea level.
I mean, we have some sea talk coming up.
The Kraken around
the situation. The situation around the sea gets pretty crazy. Because I don't know, DJ, if you are prepared for the overview, but
yeah, we have two fish talking about 11 games, which is always exciting. I believe the Seattle Kraken, the Seattle Kraken are on the slate. Sadly, they're not playing Colorado, or else they'd be way above the sea level. But they will be losing to Minnesota and further punishing me for my alpha sharp bet that was at one time minus like 180 for them to make the playoffs after I got it at like 5-1. But I'm not going to cry about one bet not hitting. I mean, I think that would actually kill me instead of his normal like he wants to kill me and then actually kill me.
Good idea. I haven't made my bet for today yet. My all-purpose bet.
Ooh, well, I'll tell you. You like Kempe? You talked about Kempe before, like. Yeah. If you haven't bet it yet, I feel like Kempe shots is just the clear-cut best bet on the board, like whatever you want to do. Regardless, 11 games. There's one birthday. I don't actually think Toronto's playing, so sorry, Troy Stutcher. No birthday game for you. Other than that, not a whole lot of interesting people. No goalies, no nothing. I mean, there's not a lot in the hockey reference. So yeah, I mean, there's a few playoff implication games. I think those will be the most important. Detroit and Columbus will steal the show there. I don't think anyone will be surprised. Philly and New Jersey, of course, New Jersey's dead, but every game with Philly, and then Tampa on a back-to-back against Ottawa are the Eastern Conference big, the big show. I'm not, considering Seattle alive still, so I will give St. Louis at Colorado the rematch, at least a tip of the cap. But Nashville, Anaheim, Nashville on a back-to-back in a huge spot. So some implications, a couple of good games. I think Anaheim and Nashville. I think Anaheim could be popular yet again, although they played horrifically. So it's going to be interesting there. That's sort of the standout game. I don't think that'll come as too much of a surprise. Anything you want to add?
Not really. I mean, going through stuff, it seems kind of boring of like a slate. You would think like, oh, it's late in the season, nonsense is afoot. A lot of the new players that we're excited for have already made it. They've already debuted. Some of them aren't on this slate, like Frondell or whatever. So not really anything on that front. The matchups that do have some of these new players are just kind of like dead. Like, I don't know, Calgary has some new guys that I'm not even that excited by, but Dallas has been pretty bothersome to play against all season, and especially of late. And then even some of the playoff teams, like Tampa, feels like they're just settling in for the playoffs. They don't care about seeding. So like, we don't know anything about what their lineups will look like on a back-to-back. Minnesota is sort of, do they continue the rotation that we saw this weekend? Like, yeah, so there's some stuff that we don't know. Not a huge bunch of injury spots that I'm looking out for, basically, because I'm pretty sure who's been out is remaining out across the league. But we'll touch on that stuff as we go. So I guess start things off with Boston, Carolina.
Before any guesses on the two cover boys, because you did not know who they were. So guesses on the cover boys and what went into. I think not the genesis, but the connection between the two that I thought of that was interesting.
Ooh,
and it's very same team.
Okay. Lane Hudson.
By the way, no, the connection is not anything deeper than if you looked at them. I will say that. Like if they were on the ice playing and you looked at both of them and there's a connection between them. It's very, very
Slafkovsky.
No.
Caulfield.
No.
What the fuck? Noah Dobson?
One guy left. No. Oh my God. Come on. Dude, this guy's been red hot.
You went Demidov? What the fuck?
Haven't used Demidov this season. I thought it'd be fun. And there was a reason.
Red hot?
Dude, Demidov has like 7 points in the last 5 games or something?
Yeah. And how many fantasy points? Like 12?
He has a 16 and a 16 and a half in there. There was a reason behind this. Now, the other player is
all right.
This one should be obvious, I feel like.
It's got to be a 93.
Very close.
What? It's not a number 93? Is it Mitch Marner?
What's the closest? Was the closest number to 93 that's bigger?
94.
Okay, who's number 94 on this slate?
What the hell? Number 94.
This is the most obvious player that I was always putting on the cover no matter what. And then I was like, oh, wait, this is stupid. I got it.
Is Martone 94?
He is 94.
Okay, sure.
There you go. I do like Marco Michkov for the St. Petersburg connection. That makes way fucking more sense. But I'm an idiot, and I had to be extra stupid today.
Yeah, one of the Flyers beat reporters posted a poll like who's gonna have the better NHL career, Martone or Michkov, and it's like 75% Martone. It's so funny. Like, I mean, it's really incredible stuff.
I know a guy that will take $500,000 on anything right now. You just can't, you just got to put that bet out there. Just be like, hey, who has a better NHL career between these two?
Good point.
There you go.
I hear he's a NHL tout too. And yes, of course, the C that we're going to get to is Seaman. C against Min. Seaman.
All right,
Great.
that will be that's all for us
Now,
today.
now, yeah, we only get it a few times a year. Sometimes it's Min C, which just doesn't roll off the tongue the same. So we have Boston heading into Carolina. I don't think there's any changes for Boston. I couldn't find any. So, we'll see. They're coming off of a relatively tough loss in Tampa. I wouldn't actually no. They coming off an OT loss in Philly because they played back to back this weekend. And so when you lose 2 games in a row, you could see changes. Like I guess Kiki Lindholm Pasta would be it, but I don't know. They lost with that, so I don't know. Any Boston takes here, like what we're gonna see or interest level in stacking them against Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't do this live, and I may have mentioned it, but like I went through the bottom 10 iCourse 4 per game players in the NHL that have played over 1,000 minutes, and Kuznetsov was like sixth on that list of players that shoot the least in the league over with 1,000 minutes. Like you just don't need to play that guy. There's just absolutely no ceiling to him at all. Demidov has a higher ceiling, and we already got to that. So I think you're probably looking at Pasternak situation with whomever you want to play it with. And like, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with getting, bonkers here. And saying that you're playing Pasternak, but like it's Carolina. I feel like you're probably best not to play the more expensive pieces around it. But Zaka, Arvidsson, Pasternak are 3 pretty good players, and like you're allowed to do this if you'd like, but I think you're better off just sort of saying, is this really worth it? Carolina's just putting the clamps down on everyone right now, and it's just not ultra cheap.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you can say is Kiki Lindholm Pasta is 17.5K with 35 expected DK points last 10 games. They haven't been getting any bounces, 29 points collectively per game, actual scoring wise. And of course, the Lindholm revenge spot. We could see the power play also sort of transition back to Geeky Lindholm Pasta. But first over the boards, it's been Pasta, Middlestat, Zaka, Arvidsson, McAvoy. So I'm guessing that's what we stick with. And that line is 13.4K. I'm not interested here unless we get Carolina news. Basically, last game, Martinuk and Stahl both missed. They were playing a very specialized back-to-back situation on the road. Where it was 22 hours post their Saturday night game. They played in Ottawa, so like I think it makes way more sense that those 2 were just sitting out as for veteran rest, as opposed to there being a lingering issue. So I'm projecting that they play, and therefore Carolina's lines are pretty much you can't really target them. Not to say that there's never a situation where they can give up goals or whatever, but it just doesn't feel necessary. There's 11 games here, and this is not my favorite by any stretch.
Perfect. Yeah, I think I'm on the full fade of this game situation. I fade Carolina pretty much every single slate. I don't think that they're wrong for maybe betting purposes. Like I could find the through line to betting somebody, especially like in Ehlers or a Gossip Spare for something. I mean, we talked pretty extensively about them last time out, and they've continued to be pretty good. But I also think that like this game kind of sucks. Swayman is actually like a pretty legitimate, like a legit goalie, and there's really no one on Carolina that's shooting at an absorbent level that like makes me feel extra good, other than like Gossip Spare for 2 shots if it's like not ridiculously juiced.
Yeah, that all works for me. Columbus heads into Detroit, de facto playoff game. I guess I should have changed this because, well, actually, we don't know what the fuck the lines are going to be. We saw last game Rick Bowness say basically these lines are cooked. Obviously, Marchment was back in the lineup last game, but because he literally said we're going to take a look at the lines and go from there, I don't know what we're going to get. It feels like it's blender time, but I also don't know that for sure. So. Any Columbus takes, maybe player wise, since we don't really know what the lineup's going to look like?
I mean, I'd love to take advantage of Detroit. Berensky is from Michigan narrative, but
Correct. Oh,
I mean, really,
yeah. I guess I don't know where
this is
he's from, but
he's from the state of Michigan, I believe. It really is the what happens when the like, let's not if they rocket in a hard place. What happens when two wacky waving
yeah,
inflatable arm men collide? Like, these two teams are just flailing right now at the finish line. Every game feels like we find something stupider and worse that can happen. I think Bonus needs to definitely shake things up. Like, I do not understand most of his lineup choices, nor the deployment of them, and it's finally punishing them as it probably should have long ago. I
yeah.
don't,
They've
if
lost.
they
They've
break
lost
up,
6 straight. By the way,
yeah, if they break up Fantilli and Marchenko, there's really nothing I think that's even worth looking at here. But like, I don't know. I mean, maybe you could try to convince me that there's something I'm missing. But I
no,
feel like
nope.
my plan is probably to fade this game and definitely the Columbus side. No one's really performing.
Yeah, it's interesting that no one's talking about how Columbus got Charlie Coyle for Gavin Brindley in a second, and that was a ripoff when he was scoring a hat trick every other night. But now that he's just horrendous, no one's talking about that. So you just,
The people
you can't
the
do
people would
anything.
love to hear.
I
No,
really
it's
no interest. If
maybe something
Boone
will
Jenner
pop,
moved up
but
to the top line, he's somehow been one of their most productive forwards, and he has the underlying like rate stats for 3,700 that like if he's getting a prominent role, he could be a guy that sort of falls into a goal assist, 3 shots, 3 blocks type deal. But yeah, I'm not very excited by it, and the only reason I'm thinking it is because Detroit is not good. Um,
yeah,
so
it's yeah. The top players should see big roles, but the problem in Columbus is if they get the lead, the top players all of a sudden become,
yeah,
you know, Sillinger, Coyle, Heinen, and like I don't know if
yeah.
Olivier is going to be back. He'll find 17 minutes if he's so. Like, just I think he's out, but
I
whatever.
think
Like, it's
I know Severson is done for the year. I saw that. I don't know about Matthew
I don't think
Olivier.
Olivier is out for the year, but he was like week to week, so I'd be pretty surprised if he were to pop back in. But yeah, again, I'm just not that interested in this Columbus team. They're just not all. They were enticing when they were like 4,500 and 5,200 and 7K, or when they had a cheap defenseman to play, but like it's too expensive. I think this side is more interesting in Detroit, but not a ton. I don't know how I'd stack it because I'm like I would have to play DeBrincat and Cider, and I just don't think I'm spending the money for DeBrincat and Cider in this game.
Yeah, that sounds right. The pricing has gone up, and they've been somewhat effective, but it's all come through like game script. Like, oh, we're down by 3 goals, we better like start doing stuff, and they do, which that works, but I don't know how much you can rely upon that. We're talking about a top line here that is 16.4K. Andrew Kopp, of course, being part of it. The expected's almost 40. So like it's there on paper, but I mean they don't look right for the first 40 minutes of each game for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's a couple weeks now of nonsense. They keep losing, so we could see line changes too. That a real professional hockey club would have scratched Patrick Kane. I guess they would scratch Patrick Kane for what
Yeah.
he did to them this weekend. But man,
in my life, I don't think I've seen. I really think that may have been the dumbest penalty with the situation at hand.
yeah, and I
And
think
like,
Justin
of course,
Falk
like
is a game
yeah,
time decision technically.
like
So keep an eye out there.
it wasn't the most egregious as far as like the worst thing I've seen because like Todd Bertuzzi tried to murder a guy, but like I just don't understand how you just completely and totally take yourself out of the play to trip Quinn Hughes nowhere near the puck and lose by one of the most
Yeah.
embarrassing things. This team feels broken. I just don't think you need to play it. I think people will, and I won't be one of them. I am a bit more interested in many other spots, and we can get over to one
Okay.
that I probably won't
If
be playing, but
if you like high stakes situations, just keep an eye out for these lines because these obviously are the two teams with I think the most to lose on this slate. Like basically, it's kind of like a loser leave town matchup. And so whatever lineup we get, like that should be trustworthy as far as, oh, if they're playing with the studs, they're gonna, they're gonna need to show up. But I just don't know what it's gonna look like right now, and I don't trust what we saw this weekend to inform anything that goes on the ice on Tuesday. So I'll be keeping an eye out for it. Like I don't hate these spots. Like if we get DeBrincat, Larkin, Raymond, I might be able to convince myself that that's like go all in worthy. But that's more like news information edge than it is anything takes wise. So let's keep moving to Florida, Montreal. Florida this weekend, they played hockey. I can't say they didn't do that, but it was not very good. They gave up, I think it says here, 29 goals to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Does that match your recollection?
Okay. It could have been. It wasn't quite, but it definitely could have been. Yeah, that was quite the embarrassing showing. Not that surprising when you only dress like half of your best players and basically like clearly actively doing so on purpose. And like the top line for minutes, well, I mean, they took a lot of penalties, but like Greer, Luosterainen, Nozak, those are the top 3 forwards in ice time. Not going to get it done. So I think the second or first line, however you look at it, of Verhaeghe, Bennett, and Tkachuk is clearly like an option that exists, but it's not a good one. And I just think it's completely unnecessary against Montreal, who is playing well, other than if they're playing the Devils as of late and pushing still for the first spot in the Atlantic. I mean, they're not out of it.
Yep. The Montreal has a lot to play for. Montreal and Buffalo feel like they're trying, and Tampa's just not. We'll get to Tampa in a moment, but so Montreal certainly with a lot to play for. The pricing on Florida has come up to the point where I don't really think they're in play. Like 3,700 Samoskevich might be an option, but I don't think I'm that desperate personally. So on the Montreal side, again, not expecting changes here. Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield, Newhook, Kapanen, Demidov, Bolduc, Evans, Texier, Anderson, Dano, Gallagher. I know you put Demidov on the cover, so tell me about why Demidov's going to actually do something for us on this slate.
I mean, he is actually playing a lot. 4,300. Like he just feels like an option to play alongside whomever. Back-to-back games of like real ice time, top power play. These are games they were competitive, but like seeing a 20-minute mark, albeit I believe in an overtime matchup, that's kind of the stuff you're looking for. It is hairy if it's a defensive matchup, but the Panthers have taken a ton of penalties as they're playing Greer and Nozick and guys that are bad a lot of minutes, and I think they'll continue to. So I just think if you're going to go Montreal, I would just throw him in. I mean, they're going to be getting there through the power play. They're astronomically expensive now. 7,300 Suzuki, 8,300 Caulfield, 6,500 Slavkovsky, 5,500 Hudson. Like, you might as well go 5-man, in my opinion, and just throw in Demidov at 4,300. Like, those guys are all peaking, and Demidov isn't coming along for the ride at all. Just seems a little bit off. Like, it's probably that it turns into a shit show, and the top power play is out there for like 4 minutes.
Are you worried at all that they switch up their lines after this home and home with New Jersey, where they scored 3 goals and allowed 6 in 2 games?
I mean, maybe, but
okay,
not really.
That's
like, yeah. What are they going to go to? I think it'd only be better for Demidov because they go Bolduc top line and then
I'm saying down. Power play. Yeah,
that would be. I mean, obviously, without the top power play, like you can throw him so far in the trash can that you'll never see him again. But I think we'll see it in practice. I mean,
okay. Well, hopefully that is the case.
I would love. I think Lane Hudson, Captain Demidov. That would be great news for me.
Yeah. I know Cliffy always mentions the penalty rates and whatnot, but I assume it's not been very good for Florida as of late, in addition to being on the full year one of the most penalty prone teams. So Lane Hudson with no Carrier just continues to munch minutes, even in situations where they are ahead. I think Lane Hudson's going to see more minutes than when Carrier is healthy, so 5,500 there feels pretty solid. Adding on to Slafkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield, which is 22K, very expensive, but also probably the premier spot on the night. Incentive and opponent considered. All right, let's get to Philly at New Jersey. Philly gave us some new power play combinations today in practice. They also moved around the defenseman with the power plays, so just pay attention there. No more Risto, basically, on either power play unit. And Drysdale on the top unit, Forster, Zegras, Martone, Cates, and then Cam York, Tippett, Dvorak, Konechny, Michkov. I don't really like this power play. I don't really understand why you put Forster and Cates with Zegras. Like, okay, if Martone's going to be a net front jammer, that's fine, but I don't really think you're putting your best foot forward here. So count me very skeptical. New Jersey just fired their GM. Does that mean anything? I don't know.
Sabres.
Fitzy. Yeah, they might just hate the guy, So
I do.
I'm not. Okay, you know what? Why don't I stop talking and you go on about your disdain for Tom Fitzgerald?
Yeah, he's an idiot. I mean, like there is not a worse move in the season than them finding a way not to end up with Quinn Hughes in their roster. Like whatever happened there, and it just again like there's no way they weren't involved in the process. I mean, Quinn Hughes got traded, so it's not like it's like he was no, like he got traded to another team. And why would Vancouver rather deal with Minnesota than New Jersey? So like straight up, could have gotten him, wouldn't give up Dawson Mercer. He should be fired into the sun. I mean, just the worst possible bullshit I've ever heard of in my life. And yeah, I mean, the Devils are dead this year. I feel like I'm not a Devils fan. I just feel like I like this roster a lot. And I am very, very, like, I'm not saying they're Quinn Hughes away, but like they get Quinn Hughes, this might be a totally different story at this point in the year. They've played really well down the stretch. And we'll get back to the Flyers here. Just, I think the Porter Martone situation is getting a little bit out of hand. He has been pretty damn good. They're putting him on the line that's going to get all the minutes. I definitely understand riding those coattails a bit, but 4,400s where I start to think this might be getting out of hand. It's not a bad play. Like it's just not. This power play feels pretty, not cohesive. They're trying new things. These new things are, I think, better than they were. But I'm not incredibly interested. I think in playing the Flyers on this 11 game slate in general, and like I'm not one-offing Martone 15% of the field.
Yeah, I hit my god run on Philly on Friday with Michkov 3-point night, bump, that whole situation when Martone was 60% owned on a 2-game slate. I don't feel as confident in this spot, capitalizing on it. So I'm good to just avoid Philly and move on. And you can't even say much about Cam York or Drysdale are playing like defensively, so it's just a no-go for me.
Yeah, there's nothing really here, and they are the epitome of if they get the lead, they're going to be playing the most boring players the most minutes in playing the most boring way. But that's why I think if you're stacking the Flyers, like just play Jack Hughes. Like Jack Hughes is going to keep you. Keep your Flyers stack in the mix. And whatever you play for that Flyers stack, I totally understand playing Martone in the stack. I'm not saying he's a bad play. I obviously think he's a great player. I'm a huge fan of his game and excited for what he could do for the Flyers. But like, do not sit here and think that the Devils are getting, or like the Flyers are getting there without the Devils coming along. You could play Hughes with Bratt, with Hughes, with Brown, like whatever you want to do. I'd say that works. I'm not saying you couldn't possibly play Timo and Nish here, but like I think I'm just playing the Hughes line and I'm like game stacking if anything, because you're just praying the goaltending just completely falls apart. Which I mean, the goalies are playing well right now, so I don't know. Vladar is definitely a huge reason the Flyers are back in the mix, and like Markstrom has been pretty good. Just shut out against Montreal and whatnot. So yeah, Those
All
are my
right.
thoughts.
Jack Hughes has reached early season Nathan McKinnon levels of fantasy
Yeah.
dominant for 9,200. Last 10 games, 20.2 expected DK points, 22 actual. Just disgusting stuff out of him. Let's see. I think I have. No, I don't have it up. Oh yeah, I do. Here we go. Let's see. Let's look up Mr. Jack Hughes to see how many shot attempts he has over these 10 games because the number is a disgustingly high amount. All right, here we have 82 shot attempts, actually behind J. Robin DeBrincat, interestingly, but 8 goals, 13 assists, 9 of which are primary, and 6 individual expected goals leading the NHL. So that is the Jack Hughes experience as of late. Philly is obviously, pot committed to trying to make the playoffs, and New Jersey is playing well enough to, I think, lean into the spoiler role. They are not mathematically eliminated, right? But it's
No.
basically
No.
there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 4 points back of Washington. So, all right.
Yeah. I mean, they are the next on the chopping block. I mean, they would need an unbelievable amount of stuff to go right, but it's all over but the crying probably, but not Matt Mac. And like you're saying, like they're just playing really well. And like
Yeah.
Jack Hughes has come back from the Olympic break and been the best player in fantasy. I mean, he was very bad, not very bad, but missed a lot of games. Missed a stretch like he always does, and he's basically just like, what if I get a shots bonus and 3 points every night right now? And again, like I have no problem with game stacking this game. I think I'm going to fade it myself because I'm just not going to bet on what's already happened recently and hope that the Flyers are actually very competent defensively. They keep Hughes to a minimum, which might be, a point and 3 shots on goal or something. And the game ends up being a bit of a stinker with the goaltenders playing really well. I think it's very in the realm of possibility. And like, I could see this game being popular. Like, the Devils are kind of cheap and people like playing them, and it's just so easy to talk yourself into the other side.
Yeah, I'm having a hard. I mean, it feels like it's a Jack Hughes one-off. If you like, because yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Brat kind of sucks, and like, yeah, he's in the vortex of Jack Hughes, but 5,700. Feel like I can do better with my lineup. Or like a Hughes, Heischer, Timo deal could be fun. But I want to get a sense of ownership here because I wonder with Philly involved if the total's low, therefore people stay away, or if it's just Jack Hughes go Burr, which seems to be the situation of late with both McDavid and McKinnon in not very great matchups, and Kucherov obviously next up here, also in a very tough matchup. So let's just cover Tampa at Ottawa. Tampa just finished off their 4-2 loss to the Sabres. So they were without Anthony Cirelli and Brandon Hagel. Cirelli was more of a last minute decision versus Hagel was known to be out. So I expect Hagel to miss Tuesday as well. Anthony Cirelli, TBD. My guess is he plays, but keep an eye out there. And then, of course, the downstream ramifications are one of Bjorkstrand or Corey Perry will be on the top power play at all times. They are less than 3K going against Linus Holmark. So they could certainly do their thing and, get 21.5 on two goals, 3 shots type deal. Or they could do 0 because that's what they normally do. Kucherov is expensive, 9,700. He's likely to line up with Gensel in point. And that line is, let's see, 23K on the whole and just 38 expected DK points among them. So not my favorite spot. Ottawa playing a bit better, but also Ottawa at home, not on a back-to-back. It just doesn't feel like a good spot here. So any Tampa takes?
Yeah, real bad spot. Don't stack against Ottawa. You go be more successful. Seems to be continuing to work. Point was injured in the game. Sounded like he might be actually like hurt for half a minute. Then he just came back out.
Yeah.
There was like I think he left the first period early, and they're like, oh no, and then he's like came out for the second and played the whole rest of the game. So I'm not saying that to say that there's any real concern, but if they're benching players for potential little, like he might be out, like just keep an eye on that because Cirelli was a surprise. If you're into playing Kucherov, which blame you, just make sure you're getting him with the right line mates, because we really don't know as of right now, and it could be, for all we know, Nick Paul and like or someone like that as his center tomorrow. So I'm hard fade myself.
Great. Ottawa gave us Batherson, Stützle, Giroux, Kachuk, Cousins, Gregg, Pinto between Cousins and Amadio last game. Of note, let's see. It is Jake Sanderson is back. I don't know how I missed that. I think I just glazed over that he was back in the lineup when I was checking this over. So hold on, let me grab these deep pairs real quick. Sanderson, Zub, Montempalo, Spence, and Thompson, Crotty. Is it Cameron Crotty? I think it's Cameron Crotty. Good job. Yeah, I guess that's technically a blue line. Jake Sanderson being back, though, certainly does help them an immense amount. And something that I noticed this weekend when he returned is he feels dramatically underpriced at 5,600. So I think things start for me with Jake Sanderson. Kachuk at 7,200 is interesting on a slate of this size. Yeah. Does he fall through the cracks? He's a guy who very obviously can score a goal, get 7-8 shots on goal, and really separate without, having a 4-goal Ottawa game in the mix or anything. And of course, I believe that's possible given the way Tampa is playing, given their injuries, and just, I think, lack of desire to lock up a home ice advantage in the playoffs. So I'm pretty curious about Ottawa. Might end up playing them, if not likely to end up playing them in some sense. So any thoughts here?
Brady, Cousins, not Patterson, Sanderson is like probably my top favorite stack at this point. I don't think it's going to be ultra popular. I think people just sort of say back-to-back Tampa, what's the point? I'm not saying they won't be owned at all. Like, people will look at these prices and I think see value. I think Cousins is probably worthy of leaving off, but also it just feels like at this point with the way he's playing, 5,600 isn't completely incorrect, and you probably have the cap to afford it. So yeah, I like it a lot. Ottawa is just going to be rolling those guys a lot. And like you said, Brady is just the epitome of, holy crap, that guy had 25 points and he had like a goal. Like, he could just 3 blocks, 6 shots, whatever. Like, the guy's going to be out there a ton, and he's a gamer. So I like it a lot. I don't think there's any value pieces here. I think, like I'm saying, I think the whole team is kind of a value on paper. So, like, you don't need to get cute, but I guess I always obligatory Shane Pinto is a guy. Shout out 4,300 one-off if you want to just get absolutely wet and wild.
Yeah, if you play Brady, Cousins is obviously going to be in there with the power play role, and he's been pretty good as of late. But I would not overlook Ridley Gregg. He's 3,100, 8.4 expected DK points last 10 games, 7.6 actual. It's not great, but it's well over 2x his salary, and he had a really nice game against Carolina. So I think he's a nice salary option to sort of mix in there. 21.5K for line 2 plus Jake Sanderson makes me prefer that just a little bit, because you do have this sort of I guess if you play Batherson, Stützle, you need multiple points from them. Like, you're not getting 11 combined shots between the duo that makes a goal and an assist play. You're going to need, 3-4 Ottawa goals that they're a part of, in my opinion, to really get there. And I do think that Kachuk, Cousins, Gregg could be the situation where, you have one Brady goal and everyone still gets there because of the volume that they generate. So
yep. Yeah, I guess I have to agree. And Ridley Gregg, I mean, the most famous empty net goal scorer of all time. So he could do it again.
Love that. Is that no? It was Giroux last game. We got the empty netter. Okay. All right. Calgary heads into Dallas. They shifted up their lines. Wait, what?
I was saying something, but I got muted. And I was like, why are you ignoring me? I have no idea why I got muted. But you're fine. Let's talk about your favorite team.
All right. Calgary, we got new lines for them today in practice. Coleman, Backlund, Coronado, Farabee, Frost, Greedon, Adar Suniev. He got the call up, I guess. Seems like a kind of nothing prospect. He's 21 this year. At the midway point, this is not, as of today, but at the midway point, he was an average AHLer. So I don't know. I'll look into his profile while you talk in just a minute. But he's playing with Strome and Pospisil, and then Lomberg, Tyson Gross, and Victor Olofsson. So yeah, really fun stuff here from Calgary. But we do have a top six shuffle. So anything there? I guess not considering the matchup because obviously the matchup's tough. But anything here that you like?
I mean, the matchup's tough.
Paper.
It's just Frost, Gridden, or don't really worry about it much. I get that Coleman and Coronado have been like the shooty guys, but just very unnecessary. Like I'm obviously bowing out on this one. I see no reason to go to this well. It has not produced any water, so I don't really know why you're going to it. Like have the Flames. I think they won the one slate. I think that Friday night slate where Frost and Gridden and Coronado went kind of nuts, but that might be the only slate on the entire year. Like, so I guess one time there was a trickle of water on like a 5-game slate, but
I think Frost had a hat trick like this week.
That's the one I'm talking about, right?
Okay, no, he scored 2 goals on 5 shots against Anaheim on Saturday.
Was it Saturday? I'm talking about the game against Vancouver, I guess, but then that game too. Okay, you know what? Never mind. Morgan Frost, GOAT, play him, Gigalock. I mean, I guess really the point here is like Frost and Gridden are probably underpriced, but like unnecessary. They're a cheap option on the slate. That's about it.
Yep. I mean, they get worse because they don't have Coronado, and that's sort of what I was going to complain about. Because Coronado's been good. Backlund, Coleman, we know that they can be effective for 12.5K. It's just they're on the road, so it's like, I don't know what their matchup's going to be. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know. It doesn't matter because Dallas is so annoying because you look at their lineup, you're like, oh, you can exploit that, and then it's just like you never can. Like you can't actually. But offensively, Mikko Rantanen is back, and they've gone 11-7 of late. I noticed that in practice, Radek Fox has centered the fourth line. They said he would not play, so I'm guessing they go 11-7 once again. In which case, Robertson, Johnston, Rantanen will play a shit ton of minutes. I just worry though that ownership's gonna outpace their actual production because Rantanen's come back and he's not been much of anything from either a production or actual result standpoint. And J Rob's obviously been incredible, but I can, there's many players on this 11-game slate who have been really, really good. So I think I'm just in an outright fade on this game.
I think that's totally fine. I would not fault anybody for playing Dallas 1. Just kind of looking at the pricing and the historical dominance of their play, but I also feel like it's a bit of a trap. They're just not producing volume, and I don't really understand why. They're playing a lot of minutes. It's 11-7. I mean, I know the last game was against Colorado. There's some tough matchups in there, so like maybe you can try to forgive some of it. But a little bit of a road trip, and then they come back and they have Winnipeg, and like they just shut them out. Like Winnipeg can't do anything, so why are they shooting? You know what I mean? And then they go into Colorado and just don't have their night. Like I think you could try to forgive some of these sins in the last 10, but on the same token, it's going to get ownership. I mean, it's Dallas at home in what I have to assume is a very large total, with a fully correlated top line that everyone's going to be banging their head with a freaking hammer to looking at it. So like, yeah, I think this is one of the most owned stacks of the night, and you're really just betting on it getting back to form incredibly quickly. So yeah, they're 5.5 minus 245. So maybe not insane levels of ownership, but I mean, are people playing Vegas? Like, I don't really know what else people are going to be clicking on in droves. I guess they got Montreal super excited. I don't really know. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no incredible, like this feels like the obvious spot that isn't as in there's really any, but yeah, we can. I don't know.
You sounded
We'll
really, really intelligent there.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I don't think I don't. No, just your rambling. I think you said zero cohesive thoughts.
I had like one, a singular one in there.
And I think you drew that out for 4 minutes, but it was perfect. So let me check everything for the 10 o'clock game.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I could continue onwards with my incohesive ramblings.
No, please no. The
Wyatt
only
Rantanen.
player.
No, go.
Okay. Well, no, Wyatt Rantanen. Great. Great for my best puck bags. Okay, perfect. I know that's all you want to hear about DJ, right?
Yes, continue onward. No, I was fake rambling more. It was a fake ramble. You fell right into my trap. Now I'm back on the mic.
Yeah, there are going to be guys down the lineup that just play more as a result of this, obviously. I wanted to pull up last game because with 11-7, they played Maverick Bork for 20 minutes, despite being listed here on like this third line with Fritzkovian and Beck. The price is a little tough at 3,700, but if you're seeing a huge discount in the betting markets, the 11-7 nature means he's going to get double shifted with everyone. And obviously Bork's a guy that I like, and I've gone the bat for many a time here based on his AHL profile and whatnot. But I do think he has it, and so 11-7 just makes guys like that stand out a little bit more than usual. And obviously it helps the studs too. I think Bork is a guy who we're going to see over this next week or so until someone returns, is a main benefactor of that sort of odd rotation. All right. Seattle Bork at Minnesota, the main event, obviously. Thank you. McMahon, Beniers, Eberle, Schwartz, Stevenson, Tolvanen, McCann, Cat, and Kakko were how they started the game. Because McCann scored from Kakko in, I think, the second period, I'm expecting that to remain the case. But obviously they're losing, so keep an eye out. I did notice they switched up their D pairs, but I don't think we need to get into that because they're on a back-to-back, and Minnesota is maybe good, probably good. Where are you at on Minnesota these days? Are they a team we should be worried about defensively? Did you mute yourself again?
I'm not clicking anything, and my microphone's on. Why is it muting? I'm not touching the keyboard. I'm not touching anything. It just keeps muting. It's as if it's trying to tell me something. Like, shut the fuck up, but I don't listen.
Stoner says, I told you in Discord, only take one edible.
Tell my laptop that, because it's clearly just doing whatever the fuck it wants right now. I have no idea why it keeps muting me.
Wait.
But yeah, whatever.
Is Stoner in the Discord? Wait, is that a revelation?
If he has, I've never seen.
Yeah, like I've never connected the name, if so, to whoever he is. But
he goes by Sissima, I believe, in the DFS space. Now listen, what I was saying before I was really interrupted by my own laptop was, if you are playing the Seattle Kraken and you think, are they a good matchup against Minnesota? The answer is no. They're not a good matchup against many teams, but definitely not Minnesota. Not really worthy of the play. I went to the Montour well. I like going to the Montour well. Montour's been shooting a lot. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what there is other to say other than like, I'm probably not going to play this team, but I think Montour is like a guy. And if you stack him with other players, I don't know. There's something there. McCann is like really cheap and better than his price. That's about it.
Yeah, he's been horrible. I can't.
Horrible.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know what.
Yeah, but like eventually he's not going to be as bad. Like tonight, like he's doing stuff tonight. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
eventually, like when do you buy in again?
He has one goal in 11 minutes. It's just like okay, and they're almost done with the game. It's like oh, great, cool, good team.
That says 2 shots. So.
Well, yeah, okay. That's anyway. Minnesota
more than normal.
We finally got Ryan Hartman above 5K. Kaprizov, Hartman, Zuccarello is a combined 19.5. Still feels pretty cheap when you consider that their expected DK points are 37.5 per game. It's about right on the money. Actual about 39. Again, right on the money for the 2x. Still one of my favorite line stacks of the night, but it is slightly more priced up than before. If you need a little bit of salary relief from that line, Johansson, Eriksson, Ekboldi is 17.7K. They've not been quite as good, but obviously we know Boldy has a massive ceiling as well. Do you have a preference here in the top six? And I'll just say for the bottom six, we're keeping an eye out for the likes of Bobby Brink. Just not really sure what the Nick Foligno rotation situation is, but I think it truly is rotation more than it is like, oh, this guy's hurt, that guy's hurt. They're just trying to play everyone as we reach their inevitable conclusion, taking the road to face Dallas in round one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm top line like you. I don't have a problem with playing Boldy as a one-off or in a Minnesota situation, but they are really, really, really expensive, and I just don't have a ton of interest in playing them against a back-to-back Seattle team. Like, you could. I think I like it probably more than the average bear, but I don't know if I like it enough to actually click all these buttons, especially when I like a few other teams a lot more. Ottawa just is the one that is coming to mind because we just talked about how much we like them. I think I like them more than Dallas, though. So that's probably a pretty good indication of where my head's at comparatively to ownership. So I think it's in the pool of teams, but it's probably like fourth to sixth range. So I just don't know if I'm going to end up actually putting it in a lineup that I'm building.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I'm not even going to go there. I was going to make a reference because you said, I was just going to say, let's leave the 100 acres to move on to our next game.
Because of why?
Because you said you like this more than the average bear.
Okay, fair enough. It all comes home. Let's move over Colorado to your favorite player, Nathan MacKinnon.
Yeah, Nathan MacKinnon just got clobbered by Robert Thomas and Dylan Holloway, and
yeah,
that doesn't bring a smile to your cold, wrinkled soul. I don't know what will. Colorado last game, they shifted things around because no Nichushkin. I'm not aware of his availability for this one, so just keep an eye out there. But they did go Lehkonen, McKinnon, Nachos, Landeskog, Nelson, Kadri. You may note, of course, that this is a rematch of their Sunday game. So there's that. Very fun. Bottom six, not very relevant. Colton, Drury, Kiviranta, Bardakov, Kelly O'Connor. What's most irritating is they went to the Devontae's power play well. Not sure who said they needed to click that button, but they did, and it was quite regrettable. I mean, wasn't really his fault. It's not like he's doing a ton anyway to make things good or bad. But my God, pretty listless effort from them on the power play, and that would be a major concern of mine because, like we said all year, Colorado without a power play is not very intimidating when they're 18K to play two guys in McKinnon and Nachos who are like very good at 5-on-5, but you need more than just 5-on-5 play for that price. And so Sam Malinsky's 4,300. He obviously could get there. I'm not going here. We just saw St. Louis 1 dominate them. Now they're at home, and I think they're going to do the same, honestly. So,
yeah. I had a couple thoughts about Sam Malinsky being like the Darren Radish situation all over again, just maybe not with the same level of slap shot from the point. But immediately losing the power play for absolutely no fucking reason isn't a great sign of him getting to the ceiling. I think that Radish was one of those guys that we were kind of betting on at first, and then as he got up to 4.5, 5, 6, it was like, we probably should have continued to go to that well and bang that hammer. But that's the way Malinsky's shooting right now. But taking him off the top power play is pretty bad. No Nertushkin or Valerie tomorrow. So somebody's going to get an upgrade. Probably Kadri is going to be on that line. I assume they just sort of.
That's what they did last game. So, yeah.
Yeah. So That is what they did last game, but Val stays out. I'm not sure if that gives you any feeling of the second line. Like St. Louis has a very good top line, as we know. That line's going to go against McKinnon, and then after that, there's really not much I'm afraid of. So I guess any interest in going,
Why are you saying he's out, Nichushkin?
I thought I read that today. I was reading stuff. Okay, I thought I read he was out from Bednar, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, I know Cal McCarr's out, but
yeah, Cal McCarr's out. Don't worry about it. You know what? If Val is in, then Val is in.
Truer words have been spoken.
Let me ask you this question, and then we can move on. You know how many goals Parker Kelly has this year?
9.
20. I'm just saying. I'm not playing him. I'm not. He has 20 goals. I heard that today, and I said that can't be true. And then I looked it up, and he has 20 fucking goals.
It's the guy with the butterfly meme going, "Is this Kiefer Sherwood?"
Yeah, right. Like, dude, next year people are gonna draft him in best block. You mark my word.
I mean, yeah, 173 hits and 20 goals. I mean, good lord.
He's literally Kiefer Sherwood. It's just I just wanted people to know. People needed to know that information. That's sort of like I heard about the terrible car crash. Like, you have to hear about it. I'm like, Parker Kelly has 20 goals, and somebody just threw up in their car on their way to work, and I apologize, but he does. So
I legitimately thought you were fucking with me.
I was like,
nine's a high number. Yeah.
No, he has 20 goals and 14 assists, and that is the way the news goes. So it sounds to me like you're not playing the second line for Colorado or the first line at St. Louis, who again been pretty formidable. Are you playing one of the more expensive stacks of the night in Thomas Holloway Snuggerud, which is a whopping, I almost think on the just below 21,000.
20,800. Pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I don't feel great about that. Their pricing is pretty much up across the board, which is frustrating. They shifted around their bottom 3 lines, like Dvorsky with Kyrou and Drouin and some other bullshit, but I don't really care. Obviously, it's a one-line team. It was Neighbors on the top power play, so I guess I'll just mark that at the very least. And Buchnevich is playing 4th line minutes. You're not doing any of that anytime against Colorado. But this top line, you can't really argue against. For 20.8K, they're averaging about 38 DK points. Their expecteds aren't there, 34, but still not terrible. And yeah, they're winning their minutes. There was a tweet in the Discord from someone. I think like 15-0 since the Olympic break. Seems pretty good. If you're gonna play hockey, you want to be winning. Yeah, there we go. Filipovich. Thomas Holloway Snuggerud is up 15-0 in 166 minutes since March 1st. That'll do it. I'm not going there, but if you like running shoes, put them on and chase it.
Yeah, they're obviously fantastic. I'm not going to do it, but I obviously have bet them like one of their guys like every single night to success. So the line looks good. It continues to produce, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. Let's talk about Edmonton. At Utah, a team that I do not like to play against. But this kind of feels like a sneaky McDavid spot. Like, he is shooting a ton right now. He is playing a ton right now and hasn't, giga nuked a game in about a week. So are you thinking about the McDavid, Savoy, Nugent Hopkins line or not really?
I would have loved to have seen something better from them against Vegas this weekend, because I was pretty confident that Edmonton was just the better team there. The way they've been trending, everything defensively for them, and it just didn't show. So kind of back to the drawing board here. And as a result, on the road in Utah, I feel pretty much okay about saying, yeah, Jack Hughes for 700 less is just a better play. And yeah, it's crazy that after the year we've had, that Jack Hughes is our litmus test for a slate, but it feels correct. So I'm not really gonna think
Yeah.
about it too hard after that, because even if you do get McDavid right, it's like okay, Savoy maybe obvious, but RNH has been pretty bad. He's 4,700. Evan Bouchard is almost 8K. You know, it's you don't really get the free squares that you do for normal McDavid slates if he does hit. So I just don't know where it really comes from. Jack Roslovich was the fifth guy on the power play. I don't know if that sticks or not. I mean, we know they were using Podkolzin, they were using Wallman there in the past, so like maybe keep an eye out for something like that. But absent something, more fundamentally changing, I think I'm good not playing any Edmonton.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I like McDavid. I guess I do see the point of like why not just play Jack Hughes, who's like better and also not going to see a ton of ownership. Well, he might see some ownership. I'm not saying no one's going to play him, but the way he's playing. But yeah, not a bad point. Don't hate the top line, but it's in consideration, not necessary. Utah does get to play Edmonton, and Edmonton is rolling out a lineup that is horrendous when McDavid's not out there. And even though he's playing 23 minutes, that leaves almost 40 without him. Utah's been fantastic. I mean, they're coming off of a absolute beat down of the century against Vancouver, where they scored 7, and it felt like they could have scored quite a bit more. I guess it was 7-4. So what am I really saying? But Keller, Schmaltz, Krause, Gunther, Cooley, Yamamoto. I mean, they just absolutely dominated. Are you thinking about going to the Utah well, or not really?
Yeah, there's a positive and a negative, and they're both the same idea, and it's that Utah's depth has been really, really attrited by injury. Mackenzie Weegar, not practicing today, likely out. Jack McBain, Barrett Hayton, both perfectly competent middle six centers, injured, will not play. So all of a sudden, we're looking at guys, who were sort of having to split ice time, being thrust into massive roles at the moment between Cooley, Gunther, and Keller Schmaltz. Um, you gotta pick one. I guess I would try to avoid McDavid, but uh, fuck, how do we even? Who are they going to even send out against Top Comp? I have not really been tracking Utah that closely, so I guess in preparation for the playoffs, let's take a look at their most recent games and see what they're doing with their Top Comp. Um, let's see, their last home game was against Washington. That's not helpful. March 24th, they played Edmonton at home. Ironically enough. So let's see. They used Sergachev against McDavid, and they used McBain against McDavid. They all got crushed. When Schmaltz and Cooley were out there, they got crushed as well. So it doesn't seem like there's much of a plan in place. Obviously, Sergachev would be the recipient of that matchup, but Sean Dursey replacing Uyghur, I think, is a play at 3K, but I'm not sure who between Schmaltz, Keller, Krause, and Cooley, Gunther, Yamamoto goes out against McDavid. My lean is toward the Schmaltz line, but I also think Cooley and Gunther can skate with him, so that might make sense. I would feel more confident in that take, though, if they had been using Gunther on the PK like they had in years past, and Torini just hasn't been doing that. So Gunther's defensive chops, I think, are a little bit underutilized at this point on this team, and I don't really trust Torini to change things midseason.
Yeah, they're just never playing Yamamoto Cooley against McDavid. Sorry, Gunther. I mean, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to put everybody else out there that they think and I think you're right. Like it's not going to work, but
yeah,
that's actually an
you know
interesting
what?
point about McDavid.
Yeah, I am coming back and saying, yeah,
Yeah, what the
McDavid.
fuck are they going to do with this top line? I mean, I don't know. They're not set up in a very successful way. I mean, I think it'll be Schmaltz and Kerfoot, and that's not
Schmaltz
going to work.
just sucks, right? Like
Schmaltz is bad. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
no, I'm looking at his hockey viz card. Actually, he's looking great defensively this year, and even the last couple of years he's been okay. So
yeah,
I don't know.
that's what they're going to do. I think
They're really testing me.
McDavid. I'm willing to once again go back to the Cooley Gunther well, and really quite likely Sergachev as well. I want to say there's a piece of me that could consider a cheap jersey punt with no Mackenzie Weegar, but I think it's probably just unnecessary.
I I
Yeah,
haven't seen anything cheap defensively that really stands out to me. So
no.
I think Jersey's certainly at the top of my list right now as far as value
Of
D-men.
all the guys, he is absolutely one of them. But I'm not saying you have to do it. But yeah, I like. I mean, I like this game. I think honestly, like McDavid, Cooley, Gunther. You're
Okay.
not probably maybe you can get Sergachev in there, and like Savoy. Like I don't hate a game stack here. I really don't.
All right. Speaking of game stacks, here's one that I will be investigating deeply. Nashville heading into Anaheim. Nashville has not even had the puck drop as we record this, so obviously TBD there. Warm ups look as expected though, so really just kind of checking injuries and the results of this LA game. Nashville needs to win. Obviously, that's the case. They're firmly in the mix right now. Are they the one holding the spot, or is that the Kings? Basically, whoever wins this game will be holding the wild card spot. Um, yeah, okay. So those two teams will be holding the wild card spot depending on who wins on Monday night. So Nashville in another must-win spot on Tuesday. Going Stamkos, O'Reilly, LaRue, Marchessault, Ward, Forsberg, Tyson Jost, Derek Howlett, Luke Evangelista. I mentioned that third line because Anaheim's lines are a complete disaster. Anaheim in general is a complete disaster. And Jost Howla Evangelista, for better or for worse, is 9,600 with 22 expected DK points per game last 10, and less than that, actually, 18. But it's so cheap, and like I hate it, but like again, Anaheim is just so bad that I'm really deeply considering that as like a pure value, Boston 2-esque stack that just will no one will pay attention to at all.
They're gonna play a
So now
lot.
that
How?
now that
Yeah.
you've thrown up in your car, how do you feel about this Nashville
No,
side?
I don't hate that at all. I mean, like
Oh,
Anaheim's been a mess. Are they getting Cutter back?
no, he didn't practice today. There's no mention of him. I think he's just done.
Hate to hear that, but what am I gonna do? Cry. That's
Cry.
really my only option. So yeah,
Yep.
Nashville, I do like. I don't really have a problem with what you just said there. It's I don't. I mean, it's kind of like they're gonna like who are they gonna put out against that line? And they're going to put Granlund against O'Reilly or Wood. They're going to put like they have nothing that can really try to hang with Howla, Evangelista, Yost, I guess. So yeah, I think that's the cheap throw up stack of the night. I could give you that. Forsberg, Marchessault, Yossi, pretty solid for actual good players. It's expensive, but I think Marchessault continues to be a value. That's pretty much all. I mean, Stamkos has also looked really good. I think you could one off Stamkos and feel pretty good about whatever you've done with your lineup.
Yeah, mm, yeah, I think you're right. That's fine. All right. Let's see. They are getting in Ryan Ufko again. Great. I don't think that really matters, but Nick Hague, take a seat. Okay. Great.
He got hurt.
Ah,
He got
that would
hurt like
explain it.
immediately in that game. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, obligatory mention Marcus Wood Forsberg, 15K for that line. And Forsberg's been legitimately one of the best fantasy players over the last few weeks. Pretty much since game 3 of the Olympics, he's been one of the best players in the world. Can't believe Sam Holland didn't see that one coming. But, thanks to him for producing this Philip Forsberg. And if you wanted to replace Tyson Jost with a Howla Evangelista stack, I wouldn't say you're the dumbest person in the world, even though I don't think they'll correlate, at any sort of phase of the game. But just from a game in general stacking standpoint, because here's Anaheim: Granlund, Leo, Seneca, Kreider, Paling, Terry, Killorn, McTavish, Veal, and Vetrano, Washi, Ian Moore. Most concerningly, their blue line is Lacombe, Truba, Minchikov, Carlson, and Hellison, Tyson, Hines. I am
Yeah.
deeply sorry to Tyson Hines, but good luck lugging around Drew Hellison in this one. I don't
Dude, he
think
had
you're Ian
10
Moore.
shot attempts in 23 minutes.
I great. I'm sure we can find a game where Colton Parayko is on the same thing. Like, does that mean we have to play Colton Parayko the next night?
It
Like, he is
does. This is
not
exactly
in
what
the
it means.
AHL.
The slappiest play I've ever heard of in my life.
No,
Tyson Hines.
no,
Minimum salary coming off of.
Slappy's like talent in like production profiles, not fucking 1 game sample sizes. Grow up.
I do.
Yeah, I don't think you're a Slappy. I think you're a fish. Learn the difference.
Damn it, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I obviously I like this game in general, but I do struggle because.
So Tyson Hines has played 200, 205 AHL games, and he has less than 40 points.
Okay.
Like, it's just he's not a guy. Like, just make sure that's clear.
You just shut your eyes and you click buttons. Let's get back to the task at hand here. There's 2 questions we have to ask. And I think you know both of them. One, is the top line worth playing? Because Granlund has actually been fine. And 2, Mason McTavish on.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, if Mason McTavish went 4,200, I would be much more interested, because I do think there's something there without Cutter, just as far as the one-timer role was just taken away on the power play unit.
And it's now him because he's the only one that has a shot in this game.
Yeah, because Seneca. Yeah, because the power play one, Granlund, Carlson, Kreider, Terry, Carlson, that could change, obviously, but I'm guessing it stays the same. So Seneca, Paling, Lacombe, Killorn, McTavish. And it's like, yeah, if McTavish were 3,500, I'm incredibly interested. 4,200, nah. So, I mean, maybe that's drawing too thin a difference. But I will be checking out some point props and whatnot on Mason here because they're trying to get some exposure. Or maybe the late slate or something, but not the main slate. You just can't do it. Honestly, I don't really like this configuration much. If Seneca does get on the top power play for 5K, that line would be more interesting. 16.4K. Leo has been very good. You mentioned Granlund already is actually doing stuff. But the fact that they're keeping Seneca off the top power play in favor of Kreider and Terry is just a concern. I can't pay 5K for Seneca in this instance.
Okay, well, no one's gonna force you to. I think he's also a fine play. Like I wish that this configuration was different, but it isn't.
I'm seeing on Twitter that you are very forceful with what people should do with their money. So
I do force people to use their money. You're right. That's my bad.
Yeah.
We are reaching the hour and 13-minute mark, and we have not gotten to the clear-cut chalk of the night. So let's get over to Vegas. Matt, your favorite team to stack. They're playing well. They've won 3 games in a row. Torts always bringing the heat, bringing the vibes. They can't be stopped. Stone, Dorofeyev on the top line, shooting the puck a bunch. Who would have thought? They've somehow gotten Rasmus Anderson from being completely useless to like doing some stuff. All this to say, are you considering playing the Vegas Golden Knights against the worst team in the league?
Yeah, I mean, the worst part of all of this is that somehow Vancouver figured out their offense over the last week. And so you can't even say like, oh, they're going to just roll over and it's going to be a 2-1 Torts Classic because let's see. Let's just pull up their recent stretch. This week, let's just go last 2 weeks. Dating back to the 19th of March. 6-2, 3-1, 5-3, 4-0, 7-3, 4-2, 8-6, 5-2, 7-4. There are just goals coming out the wazoo in these games for Vancouver. Their goaltending has just driven off of a cliff, which of course makes the Vegas side interesting in that respect. Like if you're going to force them to do stuff, they will begrudgingly do stuff. I still do feel like there is a world, though, where Vegas does dominate this game and it doesn't turn into the fantasy points needed to make a 8,500 Jack Eichel worth it. A 6,400 Mitch Marner paired with a 6,800 Mark Stone. I mean, if anyone plays these two guys as a one-off in their lineup, they deserve to just go to the DFS execution chair because that is just capital punishment worthy. 13.2K for guys who could easily get you 45 DK points and could just as easily get you 3 combined. Like, just screams, stack them. But yeah, like Dorofeyev for 6,500. If people are confident that this is the spot to be, I'm totally fine to play, Hughes, McDavid type stuff, because these prices are high, and there's not been any production to show for it outside of maybe a game or two. But I think even in that game, like Eichel wasn't very good. So I don't know. I'm not sure how you really get there without some sort of majestic leap of faith.
Those are my favorite types to take. I will say, like, I feel like if we're gonna sit here and in good faith say, you know what, like you could play Ridley Gregg along with Brady and Cousins, but you can't play Howden along with Eichel and Dorofeyev. We're probably not doing a good service. Like, he's power play 2. He was last game at least, even though you don't have it there. And
who did he replace? Smith?
It was Theo, Sissons, Rasmus Anderson, Barbashev, and Howden.
Yeah.
So who did he replace? Yeah.
Get out of here, Smith.
Like, he's power play 2. He's going to be, a guy that probably kills penalties and is involved offensively. So if you're going the Eichel Dorofeyev route, I just wouldn't have a problem with throwing in Howden. I mean, the way Barbashev is playing, I would say you really don't have a problem. If you say you're playing Marner, Stone, and Barbashev, like, think about 2 players that like passing more than Marner and Stone, and you're not going to find many other than like kind of Barbashev actually historically, but eventually someone's going to shoot there and they're playing fine. Like, I think either way, like, don't dip your toes in here. Don't one off Eichel. Don't one off Dorofeyev, and definitely don't one off Marner and Stone. Like, either put your whole, you put all your cards on the table, or don't step up to the plate here. Like, there's no half measures with Vegas. This is a donkey fest, and Vegas is going to play all their top guys, and they're going to score goals against the worst team in the league, or they're not. Like, don't get cute here.
Yeah, Yogi Berra couldn't have said it better himself.
Thank you.
Vancouver.
Always my goal every podcast.
Vancouver, new lines once again, because the old ones just weren't scoring enough. No, it's because they were getting caved in defensively. DeBrusk, Pettersson, Drew O'Connor, Liam Ogren, Rossi Besser, reuniting some old friends there. Sasson, Bluger, Carlson, and Niels Hoglander, Atu Ratu, and Ty Mueller. Don't know this Ty Mueller cat, but mid-year he had looked just like a perfectly fine AHL player. So that could be a stand-in for a hurt Evander Kane who winds up playing, or it could just be, hey, whatever, who cares? Evander, take a hike for the rest of the year. Enjoy your summer. And Ty Mueller time it is. I'm not playing anyone here. I like I mentioned off the rip, I am sufficiently exposed to Vancouver wingers in Best Puck. I have a Besser DeBrusk team where they carried the load through a 2-game Gunther week last week. So like, anything they do is just gravy for me here. I can't possibly find it to say, oh yeah, this is better than, the cheap Calgary shit, the cheap Nashville shit I just talked about. Like, this just feels worse given the spot and given their team level.
Yeah, it feels unnecessary to me as well. I mean, I'm not going here, but Brock Besser, shout out to the GOAT. He's carrying moods through Best Puck, and he's just been awesome.
Dude, the guy in first also has Besser and DeBrusk, fellow youths, or fellow youths in first place has DeBrusk and Besser. Just
deplorable, disgusting. No good words to say. But let's say good things about our top snacks.
Elias Pettersson, Mason McTavish.
Please,
this team is awesome.
I need
Sam Renzel.
I must be put down forever. Like, if you have the ability to come through the screen right now and euthanize me, I'd be just so thankful, because my Best Puck bags wither away to nothing in the finals. For just no good reason. Like, no good reason. These are good teams. And I'm a good person. No matter what anyone says online.
Actually, someone passed him with I don't know what, but so RIP to that. That's unfortunate. I think it was Darlene points and UPL.
Yep,
UPL did it.
Going UPL. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Yep.
Fun times.
Celebrini time for me. Could carry me to the finish line. I always believed. I never doubted. Okay. Top stacks, guaranteed goals. One of us is taking Ottawa too. Do you want to have it or do you want me to take it?
You go for it.
Great. I will take the Brady, Cousins, Sando, and like you said, no problem with throwing in Ridley Greg. Ridley Greek?
It's Greg.
Greg, right? Yeah, okay. I said
Almost
that
certain.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay.
All right. We're living like Larry. Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield.
There he is. And you throw in
Go
Demidov?
big or go home. I'm not playing Demidov. No, you can have the 5-man with Demidov.
Thank you for allowing me to do that. I mean, those are two very, very good stacks, high on my list of favorite stacks for sure. So kudos to both of us so far. I mean, I'm doing Edmonton 1. I doubt I can afford it, but I'm trying to do the whole Edmonton 1 thing. Of
Yeah, I
course,
think you can.
I think it's close.
You just can't play Bouchard.
I think that's no way you're playing Bouchard. But that's this is my planned lineup for tomorrow at this point. And if like RNH is on the top line and it's Roslovic or something, and if it's a top power play guy, I'd probably throw him in. If not, it might just be a 2-man. But Savoy's been awesome. Like he really has been really good. So I have no issue going back to it that well there, especially in a matchup. I think people try to stay away from it. I just am not that afraid of it. Like I think Utah's a really good fundamental team, but like they just don't have anybody that can match up with McDavid, and I think it's going to hurt him in the playoffs. Spoiler.
Playoffs. Yeah, I mean, staying really cheap is obviously a bit of a hassle. So for that reason, I'm going to keep a very close eye on Columbus and Detroit to see what sort of cheap value options we get for that must-win game. But because we sort of, because we got to stay players right now that we know, I'm stuck between Philadelphia 3 and Nashville 3. So do you have a particular lean one way or the other there? Bump Kate Michkov and Joe Saula Evangelista.
I'm always going to bump Kate Michkov myself, but I'm looking at the upside and not the minutes, because the minutes will not be as favorable.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of the case for Nashville as well. Maybe Evangelista mixes in some more minutes than like a Michkov could, but with Kate, you get a power guy in the top power play. Alex Bump, we know he's a volume shooter. He's come into the league and done just that, as advertised, you would say. And Michkov, has ceiling. I know I think I hit that on Friday and didn't really feel great about it. But then we went through the rest of the slate, and I'm pretty sure I gave an argument against every single stack in every single game. So let's take that as a cheaper way to fit in my top stacks of the night. So bump Kate's Michkov to go with Montreal 1. Guaranteed goals?
Cool. Guaranteed goals. That is the next segment and the final segment at that. So I did go first for the stacks. If you have someone, go ahead. If not, I can get somebody going here.
Let's go with Maverick Bourque. Third liner extraordinaire for the Dallas Stars.
Certainly used him before, and we will go right back to the well. Okay, no, I typed in Mav Bourque. Okay. I am gonna go with, drumroll please. Right. Thank you for all the drum roll. I now have to pick a player in the games, and that player is going to be, after all this review and thought and careful crafting, give me.
We're just dying to know.
Give me Beckett. Give me Beckett.
Perfect.
Top line Beckett.
Wow.
Going 5K.
DJ doesn't care about the power play. Love to see it.
Like neither power play is really the one. Like
DJ's a 5-on-5 alpha. You know what? Good call. Lisa McTavish is the power play one.
Yes, I'm. That's kind of my point. And like, who else is going to score on that top power play if it's not Mason? It's Beckett. Like, so that really I think is potentially their top power play. Like, I don't think they care that much. So Give me Beckett, and I got $6K. So you got like
Okay.
$4.20. So who are you gonna do?
You know I have Maverick Borg, right?
How much is he? He's like 4,200, right?
3,700.
30. Yeah, no. Oh, you have it. Oh my God, you're right. What am I saying? Holy crap! I can't think.
Oh,
You have a lot of money.
I literally thought you thought it was like a 6.8K player that I had 4,200.
No,
Okay.
you have like 7K
Got
left.
it.
Just don't worry about me.
Yes.
Just ignore me.
Well, 7K on the nose, Mr. Dylan Gunther. I mean,
Easy. That's
the jokes
never
write
been easier.
themselves. I've never once picked Dylan Gunther or Maverick Borg to do anything in my illustrious DFS career.
I mean, I will say this. You've been very good on the guarantee goals. With 6K remaining, I have the likes of Owen Tippett, Marchenko, Jesper Bratt, Lucas Raymond. I have these guys. These are the guys. But give me Steven Stamkos.
Wow, same game parlay, guaranteed goals.
Oh, shit. Fuck, I didn't even think about that. All right, you're right. We can't be doing that. I want to pick Raymond, but I don't know what the lines are.
Do you believe or not?
Do I believe in what?
Lucas Raymond.
No, I really don't. I'm going to go Marchenko.
Okay. It's still a bet on belief, I think. All right. That'll do it. It is Monday night. As you were listening to this, I think I should be able to finish up the Zamboni write-up tonight. So, gonna get back to the lab for that, right now. But that'll be on my newsletter, moods.beehive.com, when it is published. Diving into my sims of the Zamboni contest on Underdog Fantasy. That's a very fun way to interact with the NHL playoffs. If you are a casual underdogger, I would highly recommend you give it a read, because I do think there is a sizable edge in this contest. And I write out some of the defense behind why the field is drafting all wrong. And while it's getting better year over year, it's still not anywhere close to what I think is game theory optimal. So there's my plug, moods.beehive.com once again. We'll be back on Thursday. I know next week I am out, so Thursday may be the last regular season Morningscape podcast. So just be prepared for your normal hijinks, but with the twinge of sadness as well.
Yeah, I will think about this. I mean, we got to do a Zamboni stream. Running out of time.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk.
Okay.
Go Sabres.
Yeah, and I'm also around the Friday before playoffs.
I'm also around, and I'm off that Friday, so riddle yourself that.
All right. Well,
close us out. Go Sabres. Let's get our Sabres beer swords and get to the playoffs.
That's right. While we were gone, the Sabres clinched a playoff spot. So, DJ, I know you've been partying on the streets nonstop, but thank you for taking the time to join this podcast. All right. Thank you all for listening. From Doug, from DJ, from myself, good luck on Tuesday, everybody, and we will see you.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.